My name is Sydney Hamilton, and my topic is to explain the need for solid waste disposal in the U.S. and discuss the reasons that current landfills are not fulfilling those needs. Why throw away solid objects like Walmart bags, papers, and metals, and etc. away when they can be recycled? On the topic of U.S. solid waste disposals, when you think of solid waste disposals, you think of landfills. When you think of landfills, you think of garbage, trash, things that are basically sitting there decomposing day by day. U.S. waste disposals are basically monitored areas that are in secluded areas here in the U.S. that are used to hold contaminant items that may be toxic to the environment, people, as well as animals. Beginning on the topic at hand, I want to talk about recycling. The reason I'm mentioning recycling is because recycling is a great aspect to the environment. Recycling helps waste reduction. It helps waste reduction. It helps the pollution. It helps reduces environmental pollution as well as climate change. Recycling is a method that is used to recycle things such as plastics, papers, metals, electronic devices that anyone have chosen to throw away that may not want it anymore, and they take those items and they turn it into something that may be useful to them. Recycling is a method that would basically be very appeasing to the world and should be taken more into consideration, especially with the environment today. When you look around, you see trash in the streets, you see trash in the fields, you see trash in the oceans. On National Geographic documentaries, you see different animals and things, and they have like the 6-ring pack of soda can wraps around their neck, like in the movie Happy Feet. The penguin Lovelace, he had a 6-ring wrap around his neck. It's an endangerment to animals. It is very much an endangerment to animals as well. Those are actually some of the causes of certain species that of course live in the sea, because they're basically feeding off of the things that are being littered into the ocean and are digesting it, and it is very much causing them their lives. The topic about landfills that I would like to talk about. A landfill is basically a monitored area that is approved by the FDA that is also dealing with the GPD, gross domestic. It deals with that organization. A landfill is basically what holds in, toxic, harmful chemicals, contaminants that can be a danger to animals and humans as well as the environment, and also pollution, pollution that may, harm others. Are landfills better than recycling? Landfills are not better than recycling. Honestly, recycling is better than landfills because landfills they don't do much really. All they're doing is basically they have an area that is basically compact of a lot of things that are toxic, a lot of things that are harmful. And the people that actually work in those landfills, such as dumping the garbage that is being put in those landfill areas, it actually affects their health. For example, and you have certain landfills in not only just the U.S., but it's also in other foreign countries like Ghana and many of other overseas places. And it's plenty of disadvantages and plenty cons when it comes to the discussion of landfills, because In Ghana, there's actually is actually, I think I want to say the west coast, I would want to say, of Ghana. You know, you have the fishing areas, the people that like to fish with the fish houses and the ponds and everything, and those are honestly not sanitary landfills at all, because even though fishing may seem like a good idea, or eating it, animals also carry diseases, and touching and doing things, and it's not really sanitary. That's the main thing about landfills. They are not sanitary, and even though that they are in secluded areas, doesn't mean that you don't necessarily have to touch it. You don't necessarily have to be around it. The smell of toxins, period, can literally affect you, and it can become airborne, and it can basically contaminate things around you. It could contaminate the air around you, and inhaling those things could cause damage and cause health problems. Just like the people in Ghana with the fish that likes to fish, it affects them in a way. Landfills, I would say, are not fulfilling those needs, because it's basically it's endangering still. Just like with the birds, they fly around. When they're hungry, they grab things, to feed them when they're hungry. And they could simply just go down there in a landfill and literally just put their mouth on something, and it contaminates them. Landfills are not as supportive as they should be. I feel like that it should be a study, which I read up on, actually, in an article that I chose in one of my sources. I forgot the name of the source, but it was a study that was being brought up about better ways to prevent environmental pollution instead of landfills. It was a study that was made, I want to say, in it's Phuket, Tokyo, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And they were actually going over and trying to make a study of a better way that could help with waste reduction and environmental pollution, because landfills are not doing that. The only thing that is really helping with waste reduction and reduction of environmental pollution is honestly recycling. Waste management, it takes a lot. Just like a few days ago, it was something that I read up on about. It was this university, and the college kids had this dumpster that they all go to, and they put their garbage and their trash in, and the hallway was filled with garbage bags of trash and foods, and nobody came and got it. Things like that are literally the cause of environmental pollution, because everyone can get sick. When things sit, it causes molding, and it causes people to get sick. They don't necessarily have to touch it. They can just inhale it, and instantly it affects your health just like that. So I say the reason that landfills are not fulfilling those needs is because it's still some innate it still in some way is still a part of environmental pollution, regardless of the fact that it's in a monitored area. It's still polluting, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in a landfill. The trash around you, you know like power plant factories, everything that is coming out of that facility that is polluting into the air, it can affect you. It can affect you. Like with COVID. COVID is airborne. COVID is airborne. So you have to really be careful when it comes to landfills and waste management and a lot of things. You really have to be careful, because it can affect your health, and it's not something that anyone would really want to go through. Um it's not something that anyone will want to go through. It's not anything that anybody would want to happen to them. So I feel that landfills are not fulfilling the needs that it should be as recycling is, and I feel that it should be a better waste management than what it is. It should be a better way to get rid of waste rather than just landfills, because landfills aren't really doing anything but a pile of junk that is doing nothing but polluting the environment, which is not what needs to be done at all. Whereas recycling is aimed at decreasing waste and control of contaminant, most most recycling procedures in industries such as landfills pollute the environment. And that is my informative speech on why that is my informative speech explaining the need for solid waste disposal in the U.S. and discussing the reasons why current landfills are not fulfilling those needs. Thank you for watching.